Hi friends, welcome in. I'm going to be doing the weekly all signs reading for February 1st to February 7th. I'm going to be using the Sacred Symbols Oracle and the Night Sun Oracle. All right, let's get one Oracle card, please, for Aquarius. What's one sacred symbol that Aquarius could tap into this week? All right, Aquarius. So veiled. It looks like might be some hidden aspects this week. Let me get 3 cards of advice for Aquarius. February 1st to February 7th. My Pentacles. Okay. Oop. Man, they both came out at the same time. I'll take them. My advice for you this week is to take off the mask. I feel like maybe you've been moving ahead very carefully with something, but you actually don't want to be moving very carefully, and you shouldn't be. I don't know what it is, business, school, work, relationships, whatever. It seems like you've been very slow and careful with something. But this week you need to not be. I think that you need to disrupt a couple things this week. I don't know what it is. Give some news, make a big decision that you've been putting off. If I feel like maybe this might hurt somebody's feelings or maybe upset somebody, if it doesn't actually matter though, because this is about you. You need to just do that this week. That needs to happen this week. Whatever needs to be removed or whatever decision you need to make or whatever you need to say to somebody, do it this week. February 1st to February 7th. And be kind. And I think that you need to let yourself be seen in some way as well. You need to let yourself be, I guess, admired or seen, or there's something here where maybe you were hiding yourself, but I think that it's time to not do that. There's something you want to give to, and it's time this week to do that, to say the thing, to show yourself, to whatever it is. It seems like you need to unveil yourself this week. That's my quick advice for Aquarius. Pisces. Okay, what's a sacred symbol for Pisces for February 1st to February 7th? Sacred symbol for Pisces. Oh goodness. Come on, Pisces. Pisces, truth. Let's see what's going on. Let me get 3 cards of truth for Pisces. The color blue could be significant for you this week. Blue eyes, maybe. Ooh. 7 of Cups reversed. The High Priestess on her side. Okay, everything's sort of coming out all over the place for you, Pisces. This is how the cards landed. I sometimes do like to read the cards just the way they land, because sometimes that speaks to me, and maybe I'll move them upright, maybe I won't. But I think that you need to take an honest look at something for yourself this week. There's something that you're planning, but you actually cannot fully plan it. It's not going to get done. There's something you want to move towards, or something you want to start planning, but you actually can't do it unless you just look at something the way that it needs to be looked at. The 7 of Cups is kind of like being in a Delulu energy, but reversed, it's like the energy of the Seven of Cups is still present, but it's clearing up for me. That's what I feel like. Maybe that you're it just feels like there's something you don't want to look at. I don't know. Maybe a letter. It could be a letter, a correspondence. I don't know why that came in my brain. A text message, or there's something you don't want to look at, but you actually need to look at it because it's got something that you need in order to move forward. So that's my advice. My advice is to look at the things you don't want to look at this week. Look at the truth of something that you don't want to, maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't want to accept that it's the truth, but if you think it's the truth, use your intuition. Pisces is obviously very intuitive. Intuit it. Use your knowledge. All right, Pisces, let's go on to Aries. Okay, soulmate. And then also psychic came out. So I like how the colors are almost corresponding. Like Pisces just had 2 blue, and then Aries has like this sort of pink, red, warm energy. I love reading colors on cards. I think it's so important and something that a lot of people skip, especially when you first start reading. And I think that a lot of us read cards intuitively after a while and kind of just notice those cards, but I like to point it out. So soulmate is present. 3 of Wands is present. Okay. This feels good. This feels really nice. 3 of Wands. 4 of Swords. Ten of Pentacles. This could have to do with a soulmate. Obviously, I have the soulmate here. This is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Or it could just be the energy of the relationship as well. It could be a really fast-moving relationship. My advice is to move forward at a steady. There's something that you're trying to create it. But I think this week you actually, if you want success this week in terms of a relationship, I think that's what this is about. Or this could just be a coming together of 2 things. You need to stop thinking so much this week. There actually needs to be like this mental rest that happens. And I think that you actually need to move from a more intuitive place. A place more of curiosity rather of fear, or a place of intuition rather than trying to think it out too much and plan it out too much. I feel like maybe there might be something with that. But there also could be something that's either coming together or coming to an end that needs to happen. It could have to do with money or finances. But I feel really good about this reading. I feel like it's a good ending, whatever it is. It could have to do with money. Some of you might be getting a job this week. Some of you might be getting a job, and it could be something that you've been really wanting for a long time. And that's not advice, but that's just that's more of a prediction, but that's what I'm getting. My advice is to use your gut this week, move forward with your intuition, and put those thoughts to rest. Whatever, I think that it just you need to turn your brain off this week. That's my advice. Too much thinking. I actually even feel a little bit like an overthinking energy in that reading as well. Maybe you're overthinking this relationship, but don't. Move through it intuitively. And let things come together how they come together this week. Let them be. You don't need to control it. All right, Taurus. Sacred symbol for Taurus. Meditate. I got a message out here. So maybe you guys already got this message. Maybe there was a message you already got. But I have meditate and message out for Taurus. I was only going to take one, but they both fell out at the same time. So 3 cards of advice for Taurus, please. That one popped out. The moon. Okay, the moon. The moon on this card, it's got the wheel on it, so it's very wheel of fortune-y to me. But in this deck, the moon is a very cyclical energy. In this deck in particular, it's very, very cyclical. But it's almost the Wheel of Fortune that you don't know where it's going to stop, though. This is like the mysterious Wheel of Fortune, almost. Four of Swords again. That just came out for Aries. My advice for Taurus is going to be really similar to Aries. I think that there's Aries was to move forward from an intuitive place, but I actually think that you need to meditate. There might be a message that comes through to you through meditation. Again, like I told Aries, my advice to you this week is don't overthink things. There needs to be a mental rest for you this week. You need to mentally rest about something that maybe you've been going over and over and over and over, and this actually feels kind of exhausting. I think you're probably mentally and or emotionally exhausted, Taurus. And this week it just needs to stop. There needs to be a silence that comes, or at least a space. You need to make some space for maybe a message to come through, or maybe it's a message that you already got that you need to think over. Or maybe it's a message that's causing you to have this roundabout feeling of like going over and over and over things, but it just needs to stop. Something needs to stop this week. I think you know what that is. If this resonates, Taurus, if there's something that you've been wanting to stop, some cycle, mental cycle, emotional cycle, stop this week what you're doing. Stop with the overthinking and just meditate. Just sit on it and see if some messages come through. That's my advice for you, Taurus. All right, advice for Gemini. Can I get a symbol for Gemini, please? What's a symbol for Gemini to meditate on this week? There's a lot of like, I feel like a couple of the readings so far have been don't do anything. Message kind of popped out. So maybe there's somebody that's wanting to message, or you're wanting to message somebody, but you just haven't. Full moon. I'm going to take this as it is. Full moon for Gemini. Oh man, my cards. Okay, can I get 3 cards of advice for Gemini? And then I have the World card that popped out with this one. So my advice this week is the full moon card. It could indicate timing. This could be about an event that has to do with the full moon, but the full moon to me is the mother energy. It could be something to do with the mother. It could be something to do with ending, completion, fullness. But this week, meditate on the full moon energy. There might be something coming in. I don't see an ending. I just see a new beginning with this. And I think that whatever it is that you need to move towards it this week. It probably has to do with your stability somehow. But whatever it is, I think that you need to quickly move towards it this week as responsibly as you can. I don't know if that makes sense. But the Knight of Swords is here and the Ace of Wands is here. So there is something that you deeply, deeply desire and that you want to move forward towards this week, but it needs to be done from a practical standpoint. Please do not get in over your head with some things this week. I don't see any issue with moving forward this week with something, closing something out. It could be something to do with the full moon. But it needs to be done with caution this week. That's my advice. Also, try not to spend too much money this week. For some reason, that's kind of random, but that's my advice. Cancer. Oop, I went straight to the 3 cards. I don't know why I didn't pull out the sacred symbols, but I'll get you one. Sacred symbol for Cancer. A lot of Cancer energy, a lot of water energy. 7 of Wands. Stormy. So this is a very watery this is a very watery read. Purple to me always signifies the unconscious. The moon signifies the unconscious. The symbol of these colors, like these deep colors. This Cancer's deep in the water here, so there could be something subconsciously coming up for you this week. And my advice is to act on your feelings, actually, this week. To let it be shown or let it be known. But it seems like there's something really, really emotionally deep happening for you this week, or coming up this week, or you're wanting to act on this week. My advice is to own your feelings, to understand your feelings, and it's okay to act on them as long as you're doing it in a healthy way. There could be some emotional turmoil this week for sure with the King of Cups and this Stormy card. But this also has to do with not just your emotions. This has to do with something that you're wanting to move towards. And something that is, it could be testing your will in a sense, but nonetheless, it is something that you want to move towards. Also, my little thing that I have here is Scorpio. I just realized Scorpio, and I have fire here. Scorpio is the deep, deep water. We have this card here that feels very deep and watery. Water, deep water, water, and then we have fire in the middle, and then we have this deep water and fire here. So there could be something with that. There could be a fire sign involved for sure. But it just feels like it could be impulsive too. This could be emotionally impulsive. So it is okay. My advice for you this week is it's okay to act on your feelings this week, but please do not, just do it in a way that's healthy, is my advice. Watch your toxicity level. Make sure you're not being toxic to other people. That's important too. I feel like we always are trying to get rid of like toxic people in our life, but we never stop and try to think about maybe we're the toxic ones too. Like maybe we have some toxic things. I'm not saying that you are necessarily Cancer, but I'm just saying that a lot of times if we're acting from our emotions, it can get to a very weird place very quickly. So just be careful with your feelings this week. Also, astrologically, it's sort of weird. Anyway, for Leo, let's get a sacred symbol. Sorry, Leo. Oop, got the Death card. Also, Magic came out. Can I get 3 cards of advice for Leo? 3 cards of advice for February. Well, got the Magic card. We have the Magician out. Ooh. 4 of Wands. 2 of Wands. Somebody might be angry this week. I don't know why I'm getting that. I got a lot of red energy, like a lot of red is happening, fire. So, but it could also be this Wands, heavy Wands energy. Finish what it is that you started this week, Leo. If you've been working on something, you need to finish it this week. There's something about that. Because there's something that you're trying to plan or you want to move towards, but you can't do it unless this thing's finished first. The number 777 might be significant. I've got it down here on the bottom of the Magician card. You have everything you need to finish the thing, and it's time to finish it. And like I said, I got magic at the bottom of the Sacred Symbols deck, so this could have something to do with magic. Red, the colors red and purple could be significant for you this week. I've got reds and purples. I'm hearing divinity for some reason. Just something here to do with divinity or magic, like I said with that card. But something feels very creative, very of you, but you need to finish it this week. I'm not sure why. I don't know if maybe an outcome depends on timing. But that's my advice, Leo. Okay, Virgo, for February 1st to February 7th. Let's get some cards for you, Virgo. Let me just shuffle these real quick since they're in my hand. Virgo. Veiled. Three cards of advice for Virgo for the week of February 1st to February 7th. That came out very quickly. King of Wands. Time to take action, I think, this week, Virgo. There is something... You got every suit here except for swords, so make sure that you're thinking about this through. Make sure you're thinking this through, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're not just rushing into it, because there might be something here that you're not actually seeing. Don't get overwhelmed with your feelings. I know you've been working for this for a while. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't jump into it right away. There might be something you're not seeing. I don't know if you're thinking about this. Are you thinking about this, or are you just feeling this? Yeah, I don't know if maybe this is a job that you just want and you're not thinking about some aspect of it that might not actually work out for you. This could be about physical power as well. My advice, Virgo, is think about it. Just think about it this week. Maybe don't do anything this week, because there might be something that you need to see or something that you're not seeing. Oops. All right. For my Libras. Advice for Libras this week. Libra Collective for February 1st to February 7th. Protection. Divine Feminine was also here with the full moon. The Divine Feminine principle, really quickly, I just kind of want to touch on it. It has a lot to do with standing in sort of the silent power. It sounds gendered. It really has nothing to do with gender. It's the divine female principle. This is not a person. It's a principle. And it is the High Priestess. If you notice, this is the triple moon that the High Priestess wears on her crown. The High Priestess is powerful because she's not acting. She is powerful because she is the person that's like standing in the back of the room watching everybody, taking notes, noticing little details. That's why she's powerful. And I don't know why that came out, but we'll see. Let's see what's advice. Something feels firm. With the Divine Feminine and the Protection card and this Ace of Pentacles, it feels like a pillar. Like real stability. very strong coming through. I have the Two of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. There's movement this week, and my advice for you this week is to take that movement. If there's an opportunity this week, take it. If you really want it, take it. That's my advice this week. Whatever it is, you might have been worried in the past that maybe it wasn't stable, or something wasn't going to be stable, or something wasn't going to work out, but it is. That's not an advice, that's more of a prediction, but it is. So my advice is it's actable. It's act-onable. You can act on it this week if you choose, whatever it is that you're going towards. There's no air energy here. There's no swords. But Libra, I know that you're thinking about this because you're an overthinker. You're an air sign. You process everything mentally. So I know that this is going through the Libra filter of the mental, figuring out all the different pathways. My advice would be just to protect your thoughts this week, but I think that whatever this is actually stable, and that you can move towards it if you choose to, if you want to. If you've been planning to move towards it, then move towards it. I actually feel like you are just going to do that anyways. I don't think that you're going to hesitate. Something feels not like just very decisive. All right, Scorpio. Okay, message for Scorpio. 3 cards for Scorpio, please. What is my advice for Scorpio? 2 of Pentacles. Okay, there might be a decision you need to make this week. Color green could be significant for you, Scorpio, this week, February 1st to February 7th. There might have been something that knocked you off kilter this week, maybe a message that sort of knocked you off your guard. One moment. But there is a real need to understand this. And a need to understand your stability this week. That maybe things... Okay. I'm going to get a couple of extra cards for Scorpio. Can I get some additional advice for Scorpio, please? The Death card came out. I'm not going to put that on YouTube because it's exorbitant nudity. But stay balanced this week, Scorpio. There's a message that might come in that might cause some alarm. I'm not necessarily saying this is a heartbreak or anything like that. The heart's here, but really the 3 of Swords for me is thought creation. There's a new thought coming in, or there's an expanding of your knowledge basically this week. You're going to understand something this week maybe that you didn't before, but my advice is to balance yourself through that. This could have to do with a job or with money, but your emotions definitely are tied up in it. So there will be a need to balance. You also might be waiting for a message this week, and just try to stay emotionally balanced as you wait for that. If you are waiting for a message or for news, it's not going to come in this week, Scorpio. I don't think that you're going to hear from it. You're going to hear about it after the 7th, I think. Sometime. All right, Sagittarius. Soulmate and then affluence came out with it. I'm going to keep that in mind, but I'm going to just keep the soulmate card for now. Woo! Three of Swords again. This could have to do, obviously, with the relationship or coming together with somebody else, but you need to end a thought process around this. There is something new that's trying to come in, but you can't. The Nine of Swords is very aggressive overthinking. I think you're trying to understand this situation, but it's turning into an obsession and rumination. So my advice this week is to stop the rumination and to get out and go do something new that you haven't done before. You need to get out of the house or get out of this, whatever this is that you're in. If you're strung out over this, or if you're definitely ruminating on it because you're trying so desperately to understand it. It's something to do with a relationship. My advice is to please try to not ruminate on it so much this week and get out and go do something new. Get outside. Can I get one more card of advice for Sagittarius? This feels kind of heavy. This feels kind of heavy. Death came out with the Two of Pentacles. This is about you handling an ending. But it's not, I don't think it's an ending in the physical. I think that you're just trying to understand something that has to do with this relationship that you're in, or this connection that you're in. But my advice to you for February 7th, 1st to February 7th, is not to think about it this week. Try not to think about it this week. Do something for yourself. Get out of the house. Go talk to a friend. If you don't have friends, talk to a neighbor or something. Talk to a dog. Journal. Read. Go get a coffee. Go to the bookstore. Be kind to yourself. All right, Sagittarius, it's time to move on to you, Capricorn. We got air and growth. They came out at the same time. I'll keep the growth card. I'm going to keep the air energy in mind, though. 3 cards of advice for Capricorn. Lot of 4 of Pentacles this week. Very interesting. Really a need to stay grounded, stable. So I feel like you're trying to grow something, Capricorn. This week, my advice is to keep your stability in mind while trying to strategize and keeping your heart open, or keeping your options open. This could be a big emotional growth for you. But air energy is going to be important this week. Saturn, Sun and Saturn, I feel very much like, the Sun in Capricorn is the 4 of Pentacles, but I feel like this is really Capricorn needing to be Capricorn and wanting to plan and needing to plan this growth, but also sometimes you just can't plan things, Capricorn. Sometimes they just need to be organic. I feel like sometimes that's hard for Capricorn to understand or to do. But my advice for Capricorn this week, I know it's so like cheesy, but to just flow organically, or just try to. You can be stable and strategize while still growing and moving and flowing. It doesn't have to be so rigid. So that's my advice for you, Capricorn, this week. Just try to go with the flow a little bit while still doing what you want to do or getting done what you need to get done. Because there might be something that you're trying to grow, but you being rigid about it is not going to help you grow it. All right, that was my weekly readings for February 1st to February 7th, and I hope they were helpful. I'll see you next week.